beautiful scene if you're a Hofstra Pride player, a beautiful scene if you're a Hofstra Pride fan, and a great scene if you're a Hofstra Pride coach. A beautiful scene if you're a Hofstra Pride player, a beautiful scene if you're a Hofstra Pride fan, and a great scene if you're a Hofstra Pride coach.
Should be an exciting one. Back on January 2nd, Matt, the Pride, though, dominated the Tigers as it was a 30-point victory for Hofstra.
Really the only blemish on their season so far defensively. Towson letting up quite a lot of points to Hofstra's offense, but it's understandable given the firepower that Hofstra has. That was really the last time Brian Bernardi was hot from beyond three. Since that game, he's only shooting about 33%, which is just not like Bernardi. Ever since then, he's just gone cold. That was the last game he was hot from beyond the arc. I would expect, potentially, given their post presence, he could get hot again today.
Pride were 2-0 last week. Tigers were 1-1. We'll get to that in a little bit. First, let's go sideline, where Chris Buckley has a little bit more.
Lineup for the Hofstra Pride and Joe Mahalik. Not much of a surprise. Same five guys as always. Green, Gustis, Kuhn, Bernardi, Tanksley, and Kuhn. As for Towson, I mean, just listening to head coach Joe Mahalik talk before the game, really doesn't matter what five starters they go with. You know you're going to get a physical team, an aggressive team, a team that's going to be able to put the body on you, and they're going to be aggressive underneath the basket. They will rebound the ball, one of the best rebounding teams in the entire conference. It's going to be a test underneath the basket for these guys on the Hofstra sideline tonight.
All right, thanks, Chris. Let's get you the starting lineup first. For the Towson Tigers, it'll be Byron Hawkins, Mike Morcell, John Davis, William Arnaud Dalmedo, and Tamaj Parker-Rivera, the starting five for the Towson Tigers. Let's focus on Mike Morcell in the last game for the Towson Tigers, 34 points for the guard.
A phenomenal showing, the CQ Arena record all time. I mean, just a great showing. Coach Scarry in the past week just lauded the performance he got from that kind of guy. I mean, you see pretty much every game, you see a Dalmedo pop off the stat sheet. He's their Rokas Gustis. He's the kind of guy that might not get you 20-20, but he's going to get you 15 and 10. He's really going to make a huge difference in the post. But just for a performance like that from Mike Morcell, it gives the offense a lot more to a team that heavily relies on their defense.
The last win for the Towson Tigers, a 99-82 victory over the William & Mary Tribe. That was last Saturday. The Pride starting lineup, it will be exactly the same as it has been all season long. Wanye Green, Amin Tanksley, Rokas Gustis, Denton Kuhn, and Brian Bernardi will be the starting five for the Hofstra Pride. They're being introduced right now as we speak, and let's focus on one player specifically. Matt, it's Rokas Gustis, 15 double-doubles on the season so far. That's a CAA record for the Hofstra Pride in the era that they've played in this conference. He's had double-doubles in 11 of his last 12.
Which is approaching a CAA record, a Hofstra record. I mean, he's just been phenomenal. 4th in the nation in rebounds per game, just behind a couple of big names. I mean, Egidijus Bokavicius, another Lithuanian actually, fellow Lithuanian next to Rokas Gustis, atop the record, atop the rebounding category in the nation. You see a lot of international players up there as well. It must just be one of those Euro-style basketball things, crash the boards hard. I mean, I talked to Denton Kuhn at practice yesterday. He said, you know, on that board, sometimes I wonder, what am I even going for? You go down there and Rock's already there grabbing that rebound. It's something that for this Hofstra Pride defense, they don't really have to worry about. Yep. You have that one rebounder. The rest of the team can grab 3, 4, 5 and not worry that the category is going to say 40 plus at the end of the game.
Coming into the day, the Towson Tigers 9-5 in CAA play. Hofstra Pride are 10-4. Let's look at the standings right now. UNCW at the top at 12-2. Hofstra right behind them at 10-4. JMU, William & Mary, and Towson all tied for 3rd place at 9-5. Charleston is at 8-6. Right now, they are technically in 4th place, and then Northeastern right behind them at 6-8. We'll get you the coaches for tonight's matchup. Joe Mihalik will coach the Pride in his 3rd season. He's assisted by Mike Farrelly, Akbar Wahid, and Speedy Claxton. Towson, coached by Pat Scarry in his 5th year, assisted by Kevin Clark, Jim McCarthy, and Bruce Schingler. The opening tip is up and won by the Towson Tigers. They're in their home or away black uniforms, gold numbering, and white trim going left to right. Hofstra is in their home white uniforms with blue numbering and black trim. Inside right now is Tamaj Parker Rivera with the right hand. It's no good. Off back iron as the first shot of the game is no good. Here comes Wanye Green. Stops and pops from 18 on the left side. Also no good. And the Tigers will come the other way. William Dalmedo on the right wing. Left side for Morcell. Again, had 34 points in the last game. Long shot from the far side from Hawkins is good. And it's 3-0 for Towson early on.
Gustis having trouble just getting under the basket, being boxed out as heavily as you figure Joe Mihalik would have preached this team. They are a great boxing out team in the paint.
Inside is Tanksley. Right block, off glass and in for Amin Tanksley. Last game he had 15 points, his first 2 today, and it's 3-2 Tigers. Left side Morcell, far side for Dalmedo. The transfer from Wake Forest, averaging 14 points per game, gives to Morcell, right wing, top of the key for Dalmedo. Between his legs, now towards the basket, guarded on by Denton Kuhn, off glass and rolls in from Dalmedo, and it's 5-2 Towson.
Dalmedo with 14 points and 7 boards the last time these two teams met. He was out-rebounded heavily by Rokas Gustis, not rebounded out heavily by Gustis, who only had 11.
Green drives to the basket with the right hand, acrobatic layup, falls in for Wanye Green. Pride are down by 1, 90 seconds in. Slowly across the timeline comes Byron Hawkins, had 18.6 assists in the win against William & Mary for Towson. Left wing, it's Morcell. Moves towards his right side, around a pick, goes towards the basket. Right-handed floater from about 5 is no good. The rebound from Rokas Gustis, his first of the game.
Seems like it could be the first time we've seen 2 full minutes without a Gustis rebound this entire season. He has been played very physically in the paint so far. We'll see if it continues. Potentially foul trouble for these players in the paint.
Left wing is Wanye Green, right side for Tanksley. Thought about a shot, he'll drive inside a couple of steps, goes with the right hand up and in on the layup attempt. 6-5, the Pride have the lead 2 minutes in. Across the timeline is Hawkins, averaging 13 points per game for Towson as their point guard. Also about 2 assists per game. Right wing for Morcell, guarded on closely by Bernardi, back up top for Hawkins, moves towards his left side around a pick. Between his legs goes Hawkins. Morcell between the rings, 10 on the shot clock, goes inside Dalmedo. He'll go towards the basket at the right block, puts up a shot, and it's good. 7-6, Towson with the lead as we go back and forth. Green down the left side, gives to Tanksley left wing, picks up by Gustis. Tanksley around it, gives to Kuhn, wide open, far corner three-pointer, falls in. 9-7, Hofstra has the lead about 3 minutes in.
Long ball could be an absolute key for this Hofstra Pride team today. We see a lot of play on that low block, but this team does leave players open beyond the arc quite a lot. This Pride team was 12 for 24 the last time they met. Could be another key today.
Hawkins, left elbow, bounce pass outside for Morcell. He'll go left baseline towards the basket, puts one up, and it's good as well. Tied at 9 between Hofstra and Towson. Everything's falling for these teams so far. Bernardi, right wing three-pointer. That one is no good. The rebound, though, tipped away by Tanksley. He has it now. Goes to the right wing, thought about a shot, goes inside for Kuhn, and a foul is going to be called on the Hofstra Pride. So they force a turnover and then get called for the foul. That will be their first.
Pat Scarry actually stepping out of the coach's box on the court, screaming at his players. I'm not sure if he was yelling about the steal or about the 3 guys left wide open beyond the arc on the second attempt on the offensive swing.
At the Hofstra logo, it's Hawkins, moves towards his right. Top of the key, Parker Rivera. Left wing, it's Morcell. Goes a couple steps inside at the free throw line. Bounce pass to Parker Rivera, and he slams it home. 11-9. The Tigers take the lead.
Kuhn went up for the block, and when Rivera hit the ground, gave him a little bit of a stink eye. I mentioned the intensity in the paint. We'll see how long it continues.
Gusti slammed one home, but a foul was called before that ended up happening. It will go on Towson. Tamaj Parker Rivera, his first, team's first, and Hofstra inbound.
Parker Rivera adamant that there was no contact on that one.
Referee disagrees as Green inbounds to Tanksley. Left wing, goes around a pick, tries to find Gustis, but he's not open. Gives out to Bernardi, now Green on the near side. Wanye will point up 2 fingers and go towards the center of the court. Gives to Gustis. Left wing, bounces towards his right, switches off with Green. Down the left side of the lane goes Wanye, and it goes out of bounds. Last off of Hofstra, so Towson ball when we return. 4 minutes into this game, Towson with an 11-9 lead over Hofstra right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. Back here at the Max Sports Complex, 4 minutes in, Towson with a 2-point lead over Hofstra right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. I'm Mark Wiener with Matt Durant. Let's shoot sideline to the third member of our broadcast team who's got more on the all-time series between these two.
The teams met back in the 1982-83 campaign. Hofstra won that game. Actually, it's interesting, the last couple times these two teams have played, the road team has actually won. Last year, here in Hempstead, Towson won. In Maryland, Hofstra won, and that win in the all-time series for Hofstra, actually snapping a 5-game win streak for the Towson Tigers. 3-4 all-time, Joe Mahalik against the Towson program.
All right, thanks, Chris. And Matt, if you want to talk a little bit about what happened last time between these two teams, it was really surprising. I was talking to Coach Farrelly, the assistant coach for the Pride, before that game against the Tigers down in Baltimore, and he said this is one of the best teams in the CAA, the toughest team in the CAA, and then Hofstra comes out and puts 90 points on them, and Towson barely gets 60.
Well, Mark, first I think you have to start with Hofstra versus Northeastern. This is really where this entire story starts. Hofstra Northeastern, you were there, incredibly exciting game, plus 90 score for each team. Well, Towson played Northeastern just a few days ago, and they ended up losing 47-44. When did you ever expect that to happen? With that Towson defense on the Northeastern offense, Northeastern's defense not even phenomenal in the CAA scale, but they hold Towson to 44 points. And then you look at Hofstra versus Towson, 90-58. It just doesn't make much sense to anybody. We were talking about it, I think, during the William & Mary game, during that winter storm a few weeks ago.
Of course.
Sports are weird. Things happen like that. But when the numbers are that skewed, you really question what the game plan is game to game.
Towson controls outside of the timeout with a 2-point lead going left to right. It's Hawkins. Right wing goes towards his left, gives to Morcell left wing. 15 on the shot clock. Guarded on by Bernardi as Morcell goes towards the left elbow. Dalmedo, top of the key three-pointer is good. Towson with a 14-9 lead. 15:30 to go in the first.
Well, there's just no reason that Bernardi had to be covering 6'6" at Dalmedo and then Morcell at the top of the key. Somebody had to pinch up and give him some help.
Left wing is Denton Kuhn. Goes towards his right side for Green. Now Tanksley right wing. Picked up by Gustis. Goes to the left side for Bernardi. Left wing is Green. Now a whistle blows, and a foul is going to be called on Towson. It's going to go on John Davis, his first and the team's second, and inbound coming up for Hofstra.
Looked like Gustis, who set multiple picks in a row. I don't think Towson was ready for it, and then one of them just sort of dropped their shoulder. A little bit too much contact for the referees.
Bernardi, far corner. Goes around and picks up by Gustis. Bernardi right wing now, gives off to Green. Pride trail by 5. Bernardi, top of the key. Moves towards his right side. Another pick set by Gustis. Bernardi will take a right elbow jumper. It's off back iron. And the rebound gotten by Towson. Dalmedo coming the other way, left to right. He'll go right to the basket. Right-handed floater is a little bit too strong. The rebound out of bounds, and it will be Hofstra ball. Dalmedo did try to save it from going out of bounds, but to no avail.
Seems like Morcell and Dalmedo are the go-tos for this Towson offense. As it looks like Deshore Bowie will check in for Brian Bernardi, which could spread the floor a little bit. But for the Pride, each time they've gone up the floor, it seems like they try the pick and roll multiple times with Gustis. He's just covered too heavily by Dalmedo.
1-2-2 press being employed by Towson. Hofstra gets past it. Tanksley up top for a three. A little bit too strong, the rebound for Eddie Keith. Towson on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Keith towards the right side of the lane. Tries to put one up with the right hand, but it's stopped by Rokas Gustis. Here comes Tanksley down the left side of the court. Will go right to the basket. He's untouched. Easy bunny good for Amin Tanksley. Pride down by 3 about 6 minutes in.
Tanksley crossed the arc with the right hand and just turned around. It looked as if he was going to pass to beyond the arc to one of his teammates, but instead he just turned right back around, drove the lane, and nobody on defense expected him to continue the drive.
Right wing is Keith. Guarded on by Deshore Bowie. Goes around a pick now towards the left side for Hawkins. Loosely by Green to the far side for Morcell. Stops and pops from about 15 feet out. Too strong. Rebounded by Green. Wanye Green, CAA preseason player of the year, gives inside for his friend Tanksley. Puts one up from the right block. No good. It was stuffed. Now Green, top of the key, gives to Bowie. Left side three-pointer. No good. And the rebound will be fought for at the top of the key. Bowie will get his own board. Right wing for Tanksley. He'll take a three-pointer. Also no good. And the rebound for the Towson Tigers.
Second chance opportunities being missed by this Pride team.
Inside Hawkins, right onto the basket, lefty layup, good. And the Towson Tigers take a 5-point lead. No defense under the basket there. Nice pass from Dalmedo.
Just snuck along the baseline behind Gustis. He had no idea the guard was behind.
Bowie, left side, gives to Tanksley, right side. It's deflected off a Tiger and out of play. So it will be Towson ball action. It was off of Hofstra.
It was just an errant pass that sailed right past Tanksley, who pats his chest saying that it was his fault. But according to Joe Mihalik, that is all Deshore Bowie. That's the kind of mistake where sometimes Mihalik will just point right back to Bernardi and say, get back in there. We can't tolerate that right now.
John Davis has it right side. Third teamer in the CAA last year, mostly off the bench. Keith, left wing. Guarded on by Bowie. Top of the key, Davis now right side for Hawkins. Hofstra in a 2-3 zone right now in this first half of action. They're down by 5. Hawkins down left side. Blocked away by Gustis. Here comes Bowie. Wide open to the have an easy lane, and it's good with the layup. The Pride are down by 3. About 8 minutes into this game.
Well, that's the Wanye Bowie effect right there. When both of these guards are at the same time, it seems like every offense makes mistakes against them. The steal and assist ratio just skyrockets.
Left wing for Keith, averaging about 5 points per game off the bench. Inside for Hawkins. Nice little pass to Thomas. He puts up a layup. No good. Davis gets the rebound, but Bowie takes it away from him. Here comes Deshore, the freshman. Around behind the back pass to Green. He goes towards the basket. Fouled on the way with a layup attempt, but what a pass by Deshore Bowie to get it to him in the first place. Green to the line for 2.
Looked like Steph Curry out there. Just a little drop pass around the back. I mean, that's something you don't see all that often for this team. Those are the kinds of risks that usually Joe Mihalik doesn't want them to take. But Bowie, with phenomenal hands, we see it every time he's on the court. And his minutes have been going up and up as of late. Wanye Green hitting his first free throw. And Brian Bernardi will come in for Amin Tanksley. But that's the kind of play you get from Deshore Bowie.
Yep.
Most players can't make that play, especially freshmen across the CAA. You don't see it all that often. That's the kind of thing that you get for him. And it aids to the fast break. Wanye Green was, yes, double covered as he drove the lane, but nonetheless, he had the opportunity, and some freshman guards don't give you that opportunity. As Andre Walker checks in for Rokas Gustis.
I talked to Bowie a couple of weeks ago, and he said, it's amazing how different of a player I am right now, how much he's grown from the beginning of this season to now. He misses the second one. Hofstra down by 2, 12 minutes to go in the first. Towson controls, going left to right. Keith goes down the right side of the lane. He'll kick out for Davis. Wide open, far corner three-pointer, sinks it. Towson up 19-14 now, 8 minutes in. Down the right side is Bowie. Top of the key for Kuhn. Switches off with Bernardi. Now to the right side, it's Wanye Green. Dribbles to the left, now gives to Bowie right side. Towards his left side, Kuhn, right wing. 15 on the shot clock. Picked up by Walker. Kuhn to Bernardi, now right wing. Sutter steps inside, now will go towards the basket. For Walker, 15-foot jumper off back iron, and the rebound to Towson. Ball will actually go out of bounds. Last off though, so we will step out. Towson ball when we return. 11:30 to go in the first. Towson with a 5-point lead over Hofstra right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof. And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back at the Max Sports Complex, Mark Wiener and Matt Duran here with you. Towson 19, Hofstra 14 with 11:30 to go in the first half of play. Let's go to Chris Buckley, who has more from the Hofstra sideline.
Yeah, guys, a couple different key takeaways from the Hofstra huddle right now, one of which is communication is key. There's been a lot of talk from the Hofstra coaches, the assistant coaches, Joe Mihalik, everyone talking about communicating defensively on the high ball screens that are being set by the Towson Tigers. The other thing is energy, energy, energy. You could even take a quote from Joe Mihalik. He said they look exhausted out there right now. Guess you could see that. That's why not much of a surprise that he went to DeJour Bowie so quickly, and even Andre Walker getting some minutes there for Rokas Gustis before the media timeout. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. And Matt, we have to talk about how many minutes the Hofstra Pride's top six play. I believe 92% of the minutes. ESPN did this stat yesterday. They were shown on UNC Duke.
Yeah, during the UNC
game.
Duke game. I mean, they were ranking second in the nation since December 15th.
Yes.
What the top six players on their team, how much they contribute to total minutes. And I believe the Hofstra Pride were right about
92%.
92 to 93%, whereas Duke was first in the nation at 96%. You don't see Hofstra's logo and their stats on national TV all that often, but in a stat where it basically says workhorses.
Yes.
That's really a great stat to be a part of.
And the amazing thing is the Pride rarely seem to get tired, but I guess the coaching staff noticing something different right now as Towson controls the ball going left and right. They're up by 5. McNeil has it right wing, gives top of the key for Keith. He goes towards his left side to Marsh Parker Rivera, setting a pick at Dalmedo. Top of the key, goes towards the right elbow, takes a jumper from there, and it falls. 21-14. Towson extends their lead, 11 to go in the first.
Dalmedo pretty much the exact same distance and spot on the court, taking his shot as where Andre Walker was just a few seconds ago. But Walker missing his shot unguarded.
Bowie, far corner, makes a couple of moves, goes towards the basket with the right hand up and in, yes, and the foul. DeShore Bowie will go to the line for one more the old-fashioned way as the Pride cut it to within 5 on the Tigers.
Well, Mark, we always talk about DeShore Bowie, how he's usually outsized at his position. He is a smaller guard, but you don't get, you get the same kind of heart. He plays very hard. He just drove the lane and got up and put a layup in over 3 forwards that were on the court, essentially, compared to him, guys that are 6'5", 6'4".
He misses the free throw. Gustis pulls down the board back in the game, gives to Green. Left wing thought about a 3. He'll go inside himself, puts one up, off glass, no, but he does get fouled on the way. So Green will go to the line for 2 free throws of his own.
Every reaction we get from the Towson bench seems like Pat Scarry is just wondering, why was there a mental mistake on that play? He's not necessarily mad that they're missing passes or that they're missing shots or not grabbing rebounds. They are excelling in those categories right now. The only difference as Wanye Green hits his first free throw, 21-17 now in favor of Towson. The only difference for Scarry's squad is that it seems like they're just making these little mental mistakes that he just won't tolerate right now. He's been screaming at them all day.
Green makes them both, brings Hofstra within 3 points, almost at the midway point of this first half. Hofstra in a 1-2-2 press, and Morcell backs them off. He's at the Hofstra logo, gives off to Keith. He'll direct traffic out there with 18 on the shot clock. Keith goes towards his right side, gives top of the key Parker Rivera. Left wing, it's Morcell. Picked up by Dalmedo. Morcell at the CAA logo, gives off to Parker Rivera. He slams it with 2 hands. And Towson takes a 5-point lead back with 10:15 to go in the first.
That's where the size advantage at the position will really help the Towson Tigers against DeShore Bowie. He was just outmanned right there. And as Gustis tried to help out, somebody slipped behind him.
Inside is Gustis. Puts one up off glass and in for Rokas Gustis. And the Pride are within 3. Gustis in the last game, 18 points, 21 rebounds for his 15th double-double of the season. Inside, Parker Rivera on Gustis. Tried to put one up, and a foul's going to be called on Rock. Even though he was the one who got the brunt of that contact, that'll be the first on Hofstra. Gustis is first as well.
Well, we know that he fills the points category as of late in CAA play, and he fills the rebound category. Something he's been doing a little bit better recently is not filling that foul category.
Yes.
The downside to that is that he plays a little bit less aggressively in the first half. We do see that he steps away from attackers. We do see that sometimes he'll just allow the guy to go up for a dunk, because if he goes up for a potential block, it could be his first foul of the day, as the first free throw is missed. But that is the downside to not playing aggressively. The upside is he could be at 100% towards the latter part of the game. In the final 10 minutes, he could still be not even close to gassed because he didn't put all of his effort into playing physically in this first half.
As Parker Rivera will sink the second free throw, so it is a 4-point lead for Towson. I think Goosey just realizes he can't play aggressively anymore because he doesn't really have anyone to back him up much, and if he fouls out, it's almost over for the Pride. Left wing is Green. Goes to Tanksley, left corner, goes back to Green. He'll take a three-pointer from the left wing, and he swishes it. Hofstra's within 1, 9:30 to go in the first.
Mark, we were sitting at practice yesterday watching Wanye Green take a three-pointer after three-pointer, and I was in shock. He was taking 7 shots from 7 different places on the court with Denton Kuhn, and he was sinking all of them.
Morcell called for an offensive foul as Deshore Bowie draws the charge, so will be Hofstra ball again. And Denton Kuhn himself, by the way, at practice yesterday, making a lot of those shots as well.
Oh, quite a lot. And I asked him after practice, you're out here taking all these extra shots. What do you say to a guy like Amin Tanksley or Brian Bernardi when they might go cold? Because you're the one out here taking all the extra shots when it seems like maybe they should, because they do have those little cold streaks occasionally. But Denton Kuhn being the leader, he said, they're shooters. I know how they think. They'll shoot until it goes in, and there's no problem with that.
Left wing is Bowie. Goes around and picks up by Goosey's, but lost the ball there. He'll go to Hawkins down the right side, guarded on by Bernardi. Gives to Davis, who slams it with the left hand. A 3-point lead for Towson off the give and go from Hawkins to Davis. 9 to go in the first. Green, far side. Bernardi, top of the key, left wing for Deshore Bowie. 20 on the shot clock. Bowie goes towards his right side, Green right wing. He'll go towards the basket. Kicks out for Goosties. Now right elbow. Can't find anywhere to go. He'll go towards the basket. Now spin move. Puts it up with the right hand, and it rattles home. Goosties, while falling down, still makes the layup. Pride within 1, 26-25. Towson with the lead.
A lot more contact on Goosties than I think he was expecting, as it was just a little bit of a back down play, but as he hit the ground, he just watched it roll in. He was happy just to get the layup to fall, let alone the and one that he expected.
Dalmedo has 9 points on the day, gives off to McNeil. Now Hawkins, right wing. 8 on the shot clock. Hawkins, he'll take a three-pointer from up top. It's towards the left of the net. No good. Goosties with the board. Here comes Green down the center of the court. Stops and pops for a three-pointer, and it's off for an iron of Dalmedo with the board. And Dalmedo will try to go coast to coast. Puts one with the left hand off glass. No good. Crashing the boards is Thomas. He can't get it, and Tanksley gets the rebound.
Thomas sailing in from around the free throw line, trying to grab that rebound, but Tanksley essentially just ripping it out of his hands. Goostie's getting a piece of the layup as it went up as well. He's been getting his fingers on quite a lot of balls, but you can see he's gassed already.
Right wing is Tanksley. Top of the key for Bowie. Fakes a pass, now goes to Tanksley. Right of the key three-pointer is off the mark. The rebound will go to John Davis, and a foul's going to be called on Goosties. He's just smiling and looking at the referee right there. Doesn't agree with the call. That's his second. He'll have to sit down, and we'll take a timeout. 26-25. Towson with the lead over Hofstra. 7:30 to go in the first, right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back here at the Max Sports Complex, a 1-point lead for Towson, 26-25 over Hofstra with 7:30 to go here in the first half of play. Let's go to Chris Buckley. We talked about it a little bit before, about the starters versus the bench in terms of minutes. Chris Buckley has more on that.
Yeah, guys, you look at some of the minutes, the way it works out for the Hofstra Pride. 4 of their 5 starters, in terms of the entire CAA, 4 of their 5 starters in the top 10 in minutes per game. Wanye Green leading the way at over 37 minutes per game. Then you have Tanksley, Kuhn, and Bernardi. Rokas Goosties in terms of as that 5th starter, not far behind. He's still averaging 30 minutes per game. Now, you take Malik Nichols out of the equation, obviously out for the year with his knee injury. You look at the bench, Justin Wright-Foreman, DeJour Bowie, and Andre Walker averaging a combined 6.9 minutes per game. Hofstra, in terms of the entire nation, second in terms of all of their starters and the percentage of the minutes per game. 4 of their 5 starters in the top 10 in the conference. You have to wonder how much longer does Joe Mahala go without incorporating these guys into the starting lineup, or not, maybe not the starting lineup, into the game quicker. DeJour Bowie obviously played a lot of this first half so far.
All right, thank you, Chris. And now that we talk about having to get the bench in there, where Andre Walker has to play is Rokas Gustis. I mean, we talked about it a little bit off mic, Matt. That was not a foul on Gustis right before we went to break.
I think the only way you can construe it is as an over-the-back foul, but it didn't affect the play at all. It didn't affect who grabbed possession, and he didn't even touch the ball. He barely touched the player. It was a questionable call.
Hawkins, left wing three-pointer, no good. The rebound, though, for Dalmedo. He'll try to put one up, and a traveling violation is going to be called on Dalmedo. So Hofstra will get lucky there, and they'll get the ball back.
That could have been the makeup call right there, Mark. Andre Walker went up for the block, and as he came down, his forearm was pretty much just weighing down on Dalmedo's shoulder. That could have been a potential makeup.
Left wing is Kuhn. He'll take a three-pointer. Too strong. The rebound is gotten by Denton. He'll go right to the basket. Spin move in the paint. Off glass and in with the right hand from Denton Kuhn. And the Pride take a 27-26 lead. Under 7 to go in the first.
Pretty little spin move there by the big man. You don't expect to see that from usually the power forwards.
Dalmedo to the basket, up and in with the right hand, and Towson's back up by 1, 28-27. Green between the rings, takes a left wing three-pointer now, a little bit too strong, and the rebound will go to Towson. Hawkins down the left side of the court, will go to the basket, rolls out, and the rebound will go to Denton Kuhn. Towson couldn't control the fast break opportunities. Bernardi takes a right wing three and knocks it down. 30-28 off the Brian Bernardi three-pointer. Hofstra with the lead, 6:15 to go in the first.
Mark, we've seen Brian Bernardi the last handful of games ever since the last time they played Towson really cool off from beyond the arc, but his stop and pop is still a dime.
Left wing was Hawkins, no good, out of bounds. Last off of Hofstra, so it will be Towson ball. It'll be an inbound for Towson. They've got 4 guys checking in. It's Keith, Davis, Tamaj Parker-Rivera, and Ivory all coming in for the Towson Tigers. It'll be Keith inbounding to the left of the basket, gets it to Dalmedo, far corner. Guarded on by Denton Kuhn. Dalmedo into the basket, puts one up with the right hand, and it's good. Tied at 30 between Hofstra and Towson, under 6 to go in the first.
A lot of confusion around half court with the Towson Tigers bumping into each other. 4 guys were at half court, just standing still.
Left wing is Kuhn, back up top for Green. And a traveling violation is going to be called on Wanye, so it will be Towson ball.
I was watching Wanye Green's feet there. I'm not sure what the travel was, but at the same time, not too many violations being called. It's just the fouls that you wonder. The fouls are the ones you question. These violations, travels, you don't really look into much. But for Wanye Green, it's one of those little mental mistakes that I'm sure will get to him as a veteran player on this team.
Keith has it between the rings, bounce pass to Ivory, right wing. Left wing for Moto. He goes to the far side. It's Davis taking a three-pointer off glass, no good. Keith gets the rebound, but it's taken away by Wanye Green. He'll go right to the basket to Tanksley. Left block, puts one up off glass. Yes, and the foul. Amin Tanksley to the line for one more. Off the give and go from Wanye Green. Pride up by 2.
The Wanye Green and Amin Tanksley connection, we talk about their relationship growing up together in the Philly area, playing together at Niagara, playing here now with Joe Mihalik at Hofstra. That's where you see it shine through, is just the wherewithal to know this guy, my brother, is right behind me, and I can just drop the pass. He'll always be there.
I believe Wanye's mom is in the building today. You saw Amin go up to her before the game, give her a big hug, so the relationship is basically brothers. Even though they're just teammates, they're not related in any way technically.
Well, you saw all of Philly come out to their Drexel game a couple of weeks ago.
Towson controls, far side, Parker Rivera, and a foul's going to be called on Hofstra. That's going to go on Denton Kuhn.
I believe that'll be Brian Bernardi, Mark. I saw him toss up the 1-4.
I saw 1-2. I don't know.
We could both be wrong.
Exactly.
It could have been a 4-4. Could have been Andre Walker.
That's true. We'll figure it out.
Either way, it's another one of those little mental mistakes that you know Joe Mihalik has no tolerance for.
It will go on Denton Kuhn.
My bad.
You owe me a Coke. That's his first. 3rd team foul. Towards the right side is Ivory. Bounce pass inside for Davis. Guarded on by Wanye Green. Davis up, blocked away by Andre Walker. And the Pride will come the other way. Here's Wanye Green to Bernardi. Far corner three-pointer. In and out. And the foul will be called after the play. I believe that's going to go on Towson.
That'll be on a Dalmedo. Amin Tanksley is gesturing towards his throat as if he could have gotten either elbowed or sort of locked up around the throat. But the referee is just shaking his head. I mean, that's not one of those ones where you check for blood or anything like that, but it is definitely a vicious foul. At the moment, Joe Mihalik is referencing the monitor saying check for a flagrant, but nobody's looking, and Amin Tanksley hits his first. But it seems to me that was definitely a more physical foul than you're used to seeing, and Joe Mihalik is irate, wondering why they aren't checking the monitor.
They expected a very physical game. When we were at practice yesterday, Matt, we heard Joe Mihalik say expect a lot of hitting, a lot of toughness between these two teams, and that's what we've seen so far today as Tanksley switches the second one, and it is a 5-point lead for Hofstra. Pride are in the bonus, by the way, for the rest of this first half. Towson has committed 8 fouls, Hofstra just 3 in the first half of play. Pride are in the 1-3-1 defense right now. Far side is Caputo, gives to the right side for Hawkins. He goes around a couple defenders. Now Caputo goes inside for Tamaj Parker-Rivera. Inside is Davis, right block, off glass and in with the left hand, and it's a 3-point lead for Hofstra again, 4:15 to go in the first.
Well, that's what happens when you see a double team in that left corner with Denton Kuhn and Brian Bernardi. Then it was just Andre Walker one-on-one with a player back door.
Top of the key is Kuhn. He'll go around the defender, puts one up, and gets fouled on the way. Does Denton Kuhn, so he'll go to the line for 2 shots. His first 2 of the day so far.
Mark, you mentioned the personal foul total right now. That was the 9th for Towson, but for Hofstra, just 3. And in my book, that's a great total right now. 3 personal fouls against a team that, in practice yesterday, Joe Mihalik sort of sent the message that this is going to be an NBA game. It's going to be an arena football game. This is a team that plays you very hard, very physically. So you wonder really, at the moment, how Hofstra is staying so disciplined, considering they come into this game with so much physicality.
As Kuhn swishes the second one, so it's a 4-point lead for Hofstra over Towson right now. About 4 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Here comes Hawkins down the right side. Goes to the left side for Tamaj Parker-Rivera. Far side is Keith. Goes around a pick set by Davis. Keith top of the key, right wing for Hawkins. Guarded on by Wanye Green as the Pride are back in their 2-3 zone. Top of the key again, Hawkins. Inside Davis, left wing, off glass and in with the left hand. And it's a 2-point deficit for Towson right now, 3:30 to go in the first.
Nothing else Walker can do on defense right there. He kept him at arm's length. He jumped up at the exact same time.
Right wing is Kuhn, wide open for a 3-pointer, no good. Walker with a tip-in attempt also cannot get it to fall, and the rebound for Mike Morcell. Morcell quickly down the court. Gets it almost taken away by Green. Now Morcell to the basket, yes, and the foul. Towson will tie things up at 36. One more coming for Mike Morcell when we return. 3:13 to go in the first, right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. Back here at the Max Sports Complex. Tied at 36 between Hofstra and Towson, 3:13 to go in the first half of play. Let's go to the third member of our broadcast team, Chris Buckley, who's in the Hofstra huddle.
Yeah, Mark, a lot of things being discussed over on the Hofstra sideline right now. First of all, on the defensive side of things, Joe Mihalik very, very unhappy with the penetration that Towson's offense is getting. Obviously, the Tigers, not one of the top offensive teams in the conference, but against Hofstra's defense, they're finding a lot of success, a lot of passing lanes open right now. In terms of the offensive side of things for the blue and gold, he wants more communication and better positioning on set plays. Couple different instances over the last few possessions where players have just not been standing where they're supposed to. I remember one instance where Denton Kuhn was completely not in the right spot. He was shouting out to Denton to get in the right position.
All right, thanks, Chris. And we've seen that a couple times this year, Matt, where Coach Mihalik has been unhappy with things like his team's positioning or what they're doing on the court, and it just seems like, and we've said it many times, they haven't played a full 40 minutes this year.
Well, typically, it seems like ever since Malik Nichols went down, that anger has been angled towards Andre Walker. He didn't play much earlier in the season. He jumps in to be really the sixth man or the seventh man behind Deshore Bowie. And yeah, he's going to make mistakes. But earlier in the season, it was a lot towards Malik Nichols. He plays a nitty-gritty type of basketball, very physical, and that does pull him out of position quite a lot.
Yep. As the free throw is made by Morcell, so he's got 5 points today, and the Towson Tigers have a 1-point lead. Pride control going right to left. Denton Kuhn will bring it across the timeline. Goes towards his right side with a burst of speed. Gives to Walker, left elbow. Looks for somewhere to go, gets it to Tanksley. Left wing, he goes towards the top of the key. Tanksley loses the ball. It goes out of bounds, and it will be Towson ball.
Denton Kuhn handling over the timeline, which is a strange sight to see instead of Wanye Green. Wanye went to the far right corner, and the ball never even made it to him. It looked like when Amin Tanksley cut towards the basket, he was looking for Wanye, but he lost it before he could get the pass off.
Top of the key is Dalmedo. Gives off to Davis. Now switches off with Hawkins right wing. Moves towards his left. Bounce pass to Dalmedo. He'll kick out for the far side for Davis. Goes to the left elbow. Keith goes to the right wing on Denton Kuhn. He's at the right elbow. Kicks out for Hawkins. 5 on the shot clock. Hawkins right to the basket, up and in with the left hand. And the Tigers have a 3-point lead. 2:30 to go in the first. Green, far side, picked up by Walker. Green around it, goes to Kuhn, left wing. Now Bernardi, near corner, three-pointer is good! Tied at 39 from the MAC, 2:15 to go in the first.
That makes Bernardi 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. He has been taking less and less shots ever since he went on that cold streak since that last time they played Towson. But the last handful of games, 3 for 7, he's been getting on a little bit of a roll.
Left wing Dalmedo can't answer back. Tanksley with the board. Pride have been doing surprisingly well on rebounding since Gustis had to leave the game a couple of minutes ago with his second foul. Green gets it to Kuhn, left wing, now back to Green towards the right side. Green in towards the basket, loses the ball off his foot, and it's going to be Hofstra ball as Towson last touched it.
Looks like Keith was the last one to touch it off of his foot, but he was complaining that it was last off of his knee and then went off of Wanye Green. I don't think he's going to win that argument. A lot of things would have had to be in perfect place for him to win that one.
Green will inbound towards the Towson bench, gets it to Walker, right wing, top of the key for Kuhn. 11 on the shot clock. Green, far wing, picks up by Walker. Green goes inside for Walker. Assignment with one hand. Andre Walker electrifying the crowd here at the MAC, and the Pride take a 2-point lead with 92 seconds to go in the first.
We've seen it ever since Andre Walker had to step up in the absence of Malik Nichols. It just seems like he brings a spark. He might not be the most talented player on the floor. He might not total the most points or rebounds or blocks, but he does get some of those electrifying blocks. Yep. He can get up to the rim. Denton Kuhn's not the only one that can jam on this team, and you see it from Andre Walker right there, giving a little burst of energy to a Hofstra Pride team who, yes, a few minutes ago, Chris Buckley said that Joe Mihalik was scolding for looking tired out there. They haven't looked tired in the last handful of minutes. They've seemed to sort of double their production ever since Gustis went down, which is something you don't expect, especially against the glass, against the best rebounding team in the CAA, or at least most aggressive.
Yes, and Andre Walker with his first 2 points of the game, and with exclamation points at the end of that one, with the dunk on the other end. Towson controls, going left to right. 1-3-1 being employed by Hofstra. McNeil goes inside for Dalmedo. He'll kick out Hawkins, wide open, left wing three-pointer is good. Towson takes a 1-point lead, 42-41, with 1:10 to go in the first. It's worth mentioning Towson 17-0 this season when leading at the half. Green inside to the basket, off glass and in for Wanye Green. Pride take a 1-point lead under a minute to go in the first.
Now under a minute against a team that's very heavy on the glass. You have to wonder if they're going to be driving the lane or if they're going to be taking those long ball shots. Potentially only 2 possessions remaining.
Davis goes to Dalmedo, top of the key, left wing, it's McNeil. Goes towards the right side between his legs. McNeil towards the basket at the left block, and he's fouled by Brian Bernardi. That'll be Bernardi's first, team's 5th. And it will be in the act of shooting, so McNeil to the line for 2.
5 personal fouls and a half. I'll take that, especially against a team that is so aggressive that they scouted as being very physical McNeil misses his first free throw. It's really not even hurting Towson at the moment. You see 7 for 10 free throws, but Towson is making that up by getting some offensive boards, getting some of those putback points, getting some outside shots. They are 4 for 9 from beyond the arc.
McNeil sinks the second one. So we're tied at 43 here with 37.8 to go in the first. Andre Walker will check out in favor of D-Shore Bowie. Pride are going small right now. It's only their tallest player being 6'7". That's Denton Kuhn. Bowie controls on the far side. He's content to just milk some clock right now. 4 points on the day for the freshman. Also has 2 boards. Switches off with Bernardi right wing. Now Tanksley to Kuhn left wing. Bounce pass to his right. Around the perimeter, it's Tanksley. Now inside for Kuhn. Blocked away on the layup attempt by Parker Rivera. Here comes Towson the other way. It's Keith. Right wing between his legs. Guarded on by D-Shore Bowie. 5 on the clock now in the first half. Keith towards the right side will go to the basket. Offensive foul will be called on Eddie Keith. The 9th foul on the 10th on Towson. And for Keith, that's his second. And a timeout's going to be called by Joe Mahalik. He wants to talk over the last play.
You see a lot of young defenders try to watch the eyes of players, but for D-Shore Bowie, he's not really concerned where the ball could be going because he's worried about his man. He's watching the feet and the hands. He knows that when the ball switches to the right hand, the player is most likely going to the right. D-Shore Bowie projected that perfectly, stepped back, planted his feet, and took the brunt of the contact from Towson. And that's just something that you don't see too often in young defenders. But now, right now, D-Shore Bowie gives his team an opportunity to take the lead with 2.8 remaining and Joe Mahalik's timeout. You wonder who the ball goes to. Brian Bernardi shooting pretty well so far today. He's got 2 threes. But, I mean, you see, obviously, you got Wanya Green on the court. You got Denton Kuhn, who shoots so well in clutch moments as well. We saw it at Northeastern.
We'll see what Bowie does. He'll inbound on the other end of the court. 2.8 to go. Tanksley at midcourt has to heave one up. It's no good, and we'll go to the locker room tied at 43 between Hofstra and Towson.
43 points for either team, for either one of these teams. It's crazy to think that Towson put up barely more than 43 points in the entire game against Northeastern, who totaled 47 in an entire game. It's wild to think that this is the same exact Towson team, especially against the Hofstra Pride team, who seems to put up so many points.
Let's go sideline where Chris Buckley's with Speedy Claxton, assistant coach.
Coach, just the opening thoughts on the first half, tied right now with the Towson Tigers.
Decent first half. Then we played good offensively. We got 43 points, but defensively not so much. 43 points is way too much to give up in a half.
Is tightening up under the basket one of the focuses for your team in the second half?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we got to limit their second chance shots. We got to try to stop Moto a little bit better.
Is there another key to try to get away with the victory in the second half play?
Nah, just got to play better defense. Got to be stronger and got to try to fight and contest some of their shots.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Again, that was Chris Buckley with Speedy Claxton, the assistant coach for the Hofstra Pride men's basketball. Again, tied at 43 at the half between Hofstra and Towson. The Pride are 1-0 when tied at the half. Towson has not been tied this season going into the locker room. And Matt, what we saw in that first half, pretty even everywhere. 55% is what Towson shot, 48% is what Hofstra shot. The only real difference is the Tigers shooting 44% from beyond the arc. Hofstra shooting just 31%. They're heaving up a couple more shots.
Also the personal fouls, 10 for Towson, 5 for the Pride. 20 rebounds for the Pride and 14 for Towson. I don't think we expected the Pride to out-rebound the Tigers, but that also goes out the door when Rokas Gusti sits down. You expect, wow, there's no way this team is going to out-rebound Towson and Dalmedo, but, I mean, Rokas Gusti's in 11 minutes put up 6 points and 7 rebounds. Walker almost passed him. He had 8 minutes, and, well, he had 2 points and 1 rebound, but he did have a block. He had the exciting dunk. He brought a little bit more to this team than you're used to seeing from Walker. The thing for the Pride right now, I think, is playing better under the basket. I mean, this isn't a Towson team that knocks down threes regularly. They're a team that typically drives the lane, gets those offensive boards, and gets those putback points, and they have been doing that today. They've been having their way with the Pride in the paint, but I think that all changes when Gustis plays a full half.
Tied at 43 at the half. We'll see what happens in about 11 minutes or so here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. For Chris Buckley and Matt Duran, I'm Mark Wiener. We'll be back with the second half of action momentarily right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's 3 games in 3 nights. There's so many good teams, so many good players. It's why you do what you do. It's electric. You got to be ready to play 120 minutes of good basketball.
March Madness returns to Baltimore for the 2016 CAA Men's Basketball Championship. Be there March 4 through 7 at the Royal Farms Arena as your Hofstra Pride chase their dreams of playing in the NCAA tournament. Hofstra fans can find the best seats by visiting GoHofstra.com. March Madness returns to Baltimore for the 2016 CAA Men's Basketball Championship. Be there March 4 through 7 at the Royal Farms Arena as your Hofstra Pride chase their dreams of playing in the NCAA tournament. Hofstra fans can find the best seats by visiting GoHofstra.com.
The resources and programs of a large university, the atmosphere of a small college. Hofstra University is where you're meant to be. At Hofstra, Pride and Purpose is about small classes led by renowned faculty. It's about programs that excite, challenge, and fulfill you. It's about countless on-campus opportunities and exciting internships in nearby Manhattan. It's about living and learning in a place that never stops moving, changing, and working for you. Transfer to Hofstra and discover your pride and purpose.
It's a great league. And I think it's a great league because of the people. You know, are the facilities fabulous? They're fabulous. Great cities. The coaching is good. Not to sound self-serving, but I mean that because you don't want to play against the other 9 guys. We want to be good when it comes tournament time. Those last couple of weeks there when you're jockeying for a position and wondering if you're going to, you know, wear the home uniforms, wear the away, who you might play, who's on your side of the bracket, who's on the other side. It certainly does rev up, but more importantly, it revs up because it's not just about the wins and losses those last couple of weeks. You want to be healthy and you want to be playing your best basketball. There's so many good teams, so many good players, and it's 3 games in 3 nights. So you got to be ready to play, you know, what is it, 120 minutes? You got to be ready to play 120 minutes of good basketball. The student athletes in the Colonial Conference are all going to very good schools. They're getting meaningful degrees, not just graduating. All these student athletes are getting meaningful degrees, and whether they play professionally or not, you just know they're going to end up being productive members of our society because of what they've gone through at any one of these 10 schools. John Thompson, Sr., he used to have a deflated basketball on his desk. And the message to his players was, hey, one of these days the air is going to come out of that ball. It's not going to be bouncing anymore. What are you going to do with your life? And so, again, our student athletes, they learn in the classroom, they learn on the courts, in the fields, that, you know, get that degree, get a meaningful degree, so that whenever that ball stops bouncing, you'll be able to do something with your life.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back here at the Max Sports Complex, 43-all between the Hofstra Pride and the Towson Tigers. Mark Weiner, Matt Durant back here with you. And Matt, in that first half of play, you really saw surprising rebound effort from Hofstra, considering Goosties was out pretty much the last half of that first half.
Well, throughout conference play, we knew that Goosties and Green and Kuhn all have great rebounding skills, but we also saw some great rebounding from Bernardi and Tanksley, especially when Goosties was sitting down. Andre Walker didn't really contribute to that category, but it is good to know that in Goosties' absence, you do have a force against the boards, especially against a team like Towson. Dalmedo, one of the best rebounders in the game, he was out there for the entirety of that first half. So when Goosties is sitting down, they apparently can rebound with the best of them.
We talk about Dalmedo. He's got 9 points so far in this first half, and that's actually, it's surprising to see him go from the outside, from the inside. He can really score wherever he wants. So the Pride in the second half are going to try and have to stop him.
Well, he's tied second on the team in three-point ball. In the three-point ball, he's sort of like a Denton Kuhn, but he plays at the 5 for Towson, which is kind of strange. He had 14 points against the Pride last time because he was matched up with the Rock. This time, he's not matched up with Goosties as much, so he only puts up 9 in the first half. He can spread the floor just like Kuhn. He is undersized for center, just like Goosties is, except he's even further undersized. He's only 6'6".
Second half of play just about to get underway here at the Max Sports Complex. Again, I'm Mark Weiner with Matt Durant, Chris Buckley, also roaming the sidelines here at the Max Sports Complex. And Matt, when you look at this game, tied at 43, again, the Pride 1-0 when tied at the half. Towson has not been tied at the half so far this season. Your keys to the game for both teams in the second half of play?
I really think it has to be the 3-ball because you see the battle on the glass. You know that's going to happen. You need the X factor to really take advantage of one side of the floor. I think it's going to be the 3-ball. I think it's going to be the assist game. I mean, you look at these two teams, and only one team pops in the assist category. For Towson, they average 11.4 per game, and they allow 10.5. But for Hofstra, they limit their opponents, but they also end up with right around 15 to 16 assists each game. That's to the credit of Wanye Green, guys like Deshore Bowie off the bench, Brian Bernardi to some effect also, but I really think it's going to be the assist game, working together, getting the ball inside, making Towson think you're going to go up off glass and in with Goosties or Walker, whoever's on the court at the 5 at the moment, but then kicking it out to Bernardi, who seems to be hot today, to Tanksley, who's got that smooth shot, to Denton Kuhn, who we talked about in practice yesterday, knocking them down. He can be relied upon.
So Hofstra will control the ball to start this second half of play again. Their home white uniforms, blue numbering, and gold trim going left to right. Towson going right to left. Black uniforms, gold numbering, and white trim. We're underway here in the second half. Pride come out with the starting 5. Kuhn, Green, Goosties, Tanksley, and Bernardi for Towson. It's Hawkins, Davis, Parker Rivera, Morcell, and Dalmedo. Kuhn fakes a shot, top of the key, gives inside for Goosties, almost loses it, and eventually does to Morcell, who will come down the right side of the court. Dribbles between his legs, goes to the left side for Hawkins. Now top of the key is Morcell again. Right side for Dalmedo. Morcell switches off with Hawkins at the Hofstra logo. Hawkins bounce pass to Davis, right wing. Now Dalmedo, top of the key, left wing Morcell. Goes towards his right side, around a pick step by Parker Rivera. Morcell to the basket with the left hand, the layup is good. And Towson takes the first lead of the second half. It's a 2-point one.
Joe Mihalik directing his anger that time at Brian Bernardi, wondering where he was covering the guard that got the best of Goosties.
Tanksley, top of the key, left wing for Green. Pick step by Goosties. Green around it down the right side. He'll take a shot, but it's blocked away by Morcell, and Green goes down to the floor. Morcell tries to go coast to coast to the basket, gives under the basket for Dalmedo with a right-handed hook shot, no good. Denton Kuhn tries to pull down the board. It goes out of bounds and off of Kuhn, so it will be Towson ball.
Looks like Towson's Parker Rivera was lucky there to not get called for a push. Denton Kuhn went up for that second rebound, tried to tear it away from him, and then magically hit the floor.
Dalmedo has it far wing. Gives to Morcell, who almost got it tipped away by Denton Kuhn. Now top of the key is Hawkins. Bounces with the right hand. Now moves towards his right. Dalmedo, top of the key, moves towards his left. Switches off with Morcell, who switches off with Hawkins right wing. Parker Rivera sets a pick. Dalmedo, left wing. He'll take a three-pointer. A little bit too strong, and the rebound will go to Goosties. Far side, it's Wanye Green. Rock's got 8 rebounds now today. Inside Green, right to the basket, up and in with the right hand, and we're tied at 45, 2 minutes into the second half.
Rebound by Goosties that's translated into points for the Pride. I think one of the underrated things about that half was that the Pride survived 10 full minutes without Goosties. So instead of hitting the half with 3 fouls, he only had 2.
Dalmedo off glass and in from the right block, and it's back to a 2-point lead for Towson. Feel like this game's going to go down to the wire, Matt.
I mean, that's the way it's looking. Right now, 47-45 is very similar to what Towson Northeastern finished at.
Inside Gustis, he'll put one up. It doesn't fall, but a foul was called. Actually, he went out of bounds. Gustis hit the baseline right before he went up with the ball. Speaking of the baseline, we have a show here on WRHU. The Baseline every Wednesday night from 8 to 9, everything CAA Hoops, as Parker Rivera goes to the basket from the right block and gives Towson a 4-point lead.
I like the shameless plug, Mark, but
I have to.
Dalmedo once again, Parker Rivera, excuse me, getting the best of Gustis. Again, it seems like he's just very wary to play super physical down on that low block.
Green goes towards the basket, gets fouled on the way there. That will go on Morcell. Yep, that's going to be his third, team's first of the second half.
Looks like he's going to sub in. It'll be Eddie Keith in for Morsel.
Inbounded to Gustis, now Kuhn, top of the key, takes a three-pointer, yes! Pride within one of the Tigers 3 minutes into the second half.
Clearly that work in practice is shining through right now, Mark. Such a sweet shot from the top of the arc, contested.
Davis, right wing, Dalmedo, top of the key. He's got 15 so far today. Keith, left wing, around a pick set by Parker Rivera. Now Davis, right wing three-pointer. High arcing shot is no good. Dalmedo tried to pressure in. Parker Rivera gets it anyway, and a foul is going to be called on Denton Kuhn as Parker Rivera went up for the ball. That'll be his second, team's first.
Hands on his hips. He's just questioning where the contact was. From where I'm sitting, it looked like it could have been considered over the back, but he did reach over and grab all ball. That's definitely not something you want to see right now. Denton Kuhn with 2 fouls. And if he's going to have to play physically, since Gustis clearly isn't, as the first free throw is missed, then you might have both of your big men with 3 fouls very soon, in which case the use of Andre Walker is going to be needed, and you could see Justin Wright Foreman move in if the guards get tired from picking up the slack.
Parker Rivera makes 1 of 2. It's a 2-point lead for Towson 3 minutes into the second half. Kuhn, right wing, switches off with Bernardi, now Green. Yo-Yo's with the basketball, gives off to Gustis, slams it with 2 hands, does the rock, Rokas Gustis, and we're tied at 50.
Gave Eddie Keith a little bit of that attitude back. Keith got the best of him earlier in that first half and gave him a little stink eye. Well, he hung on the rim a little extra there and stared down Eddie himself.
Keith, top of the key, bounce pass to Hawkins, right wing. Stutter steps inside, now backs up, gives to Dalmedo, but he didn't get it to him. It goes out of bounds, and it will be Hofstra basketball. 16:25 to go in the second half, tied at 50 here at the MAC.
John Davis only has 18 assists on the year. That was a bit of a fancy pass attempt.
Green between the rings, dribbles with the left hand, goes to Bernardi, left wing, picks up by Kuhn, top of the key for Green. Right wing, it's Tanksley, fakes a shot, now takes it from the baseline, and it goes in. Tanksley gives the Pride a 2-point lead 4 minutes into the second half. Keith on the far side, guarded by Bernardi. Very closely there, top of the key, Parker Rivera. Around the perimeter is Hawkins, left wing. Goes around a pick. Now Hawkins, top of the key, goes with his left hand towards the basket. Puts one up from about 10 feet out, off back iron. The rebound for Davis, he puts it off glass and in. And we're tied at 52, 4 minutes into the second half.
Joe Mihalik once again yelling at Brian Bernardi. Down in that low right block, just had his hands straight up in the air, but hands up in the air don't make a difference if you don't have body position.
Green, right to Gustis, right-handed layup is good. Rokas Gustis gives the Pride a 2-point lead, 54-52.
And as I mentioned, we could see Justin Wright Foreman checking in soon. He is at the scorer's table, ready to check in. This could be for Bernardi.
Top of the key is Hawkins. Moves towards his left. Guarded on by Green. Now Davis, right wing. Left wing for Hawkins. Guarded on by Green, inside of Dalmedo at the free throw line. Fakes a jumper, now goes inside with the right hand off glass, no good. Gustis with his 9th rebound of the game, 1 away from a double-double. Green goes towards the basket, gets fouled on the way there, and will step out. 5 minutes into the second half, Hofstra with a 54-52 lead over Towson, right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. Back at the MAC, it's a 2-point lead for Hofstra, 5 minutes into the second half. Mark Weiner and Matt Durant here with you, and our sideline reporter Chris Buckley has a little bit more about Autism Awareness Week in NCAA college basketball. Here's Chris.
Yeah, guys, this Saturday, a very special game for the Towson Tigers men's basketball program. They're taking on the Elon Phoenix at noon, but what's really important is that it's their annual Autism Awareness game, and their head coach, Pat Scarry, along with assistant coach at Georgia Tech and that men's basketball program, Tom Harrion, they've done a very good job of raising autism awareness around the league, national attention for this, what is considered to be the largest and fastest growing developmental disorder in autism. It's something that really hits home for Scarry. His own son, Owen, has the developmental disorder of autism, and actually Hofstra tonight wearing shoelaces of the powder blue color, which is considered to be the color for autism awareness. Saturday, the Towson men's basketball team will also be wearing that same color on their uniforms when they take on Elon. So a really nice touch by the NCAA and specifically Pat Scarry and the Towson Tigers men's basketball program.
Thanks, Chris. And yeah, Pat Scarry's been instrumental in the autism awareness around college basketball, as Chris just mentioned, his own son suffers from the disease.
Well, one of the co-founders of the Coaches Powering Forward for Autism really is something that hits home for him, and he creates an organization with the platform he's given. NCAA basketball, one of the best platforms that anybody can take advantage of in the country.
So very nice touch here for Towson, as Kuhn will take a right corner three-pointer, a little bit too short. We're back in action here, a 54-52 lead Hofstra has over Towson for the moment. Towson goes right to left. Hawkins, top of the key, bounce pass to a Dalmedo. 18-foot jumper from the left side is good, and we're tied at 54, about 5 minutes into this second half.
And Justin Wright Foreman is on the floor in place of Brian Bernardi at the moment. We saw him shooting around in practice. He does have a really nice jump shot, but he's one of those guys, just like Andre Walker, brings a spark to the floor.
Tanksley towards the basket, gets fouled on the way. We'll see who that one is on.
I don't believe they're calling this one a shooting foul. It looked like Amin was trying to say I was shooting, but instead it'll just be an inbound to the left of the basket.
That'll go on Keith. That'll be his third. So a couple of Towson players are in foul trouble right now. By the way, so far in this game, 9 times tied, 13 lead changes. And we're tied right now at 54. Left wing, it's Green. Inside for Gustis. He'll slam it again with 2 hands. Rokas Gustis has 12 points so far, and the Pride have a 2-point lead.
Well, as I said, Justin Wright Foreman could have been the spark. Gustis again with his second dunk of the night. He's fired up in the paint. He's being played very, very physically. Clearly, it's making an impression that he has to do something himself.
Parker Rivera, right baseline, gives to Morcell, puts one up, foul. Going to be called on Wanye Green.
That'll actually go on Amin Tanksley.
Tanksley.
See, this time you were wrong, Mark. I don't know you Coke for this one.
Are we even now?
we are even now. But it is good news that it's on Amin Tanksley and not Rokas Gustis. He had to stand straight up above his head on that low right block, and I was afraid once I heard the whistle that, it was going against Gustis, as the first free throw is made by Morcell. But that would have been, that would have put the Pride in a very tough situation, as Brian Bernardi checks back in after about 30 seconds on the bench. I'm not sure if they just wanted to go over a defensive play with him or what, but that clearly wasn't enough time for rest. So Justin Wright Foreman takes a seat once more next to Deshore Bowie.
Morcell's second free throw is good. So once again tied at 56 here, 6 minutes in to the second half of play. Here comes Wanye Green down the left side, moves towards the right for Denton Kuhn. Left wing, it's Tanksley. He'll, with a burst of speed, go inside with the lefty. Left hand, it is good with the layup, and the Pride take a 58-56 lead.
That's been a theme for this Hofstra Pride offense. Just one player skipping over the free throw line, just a little crow step, putting the ball down on the floor. And if you don't have a clear lane to the basket, you just kick back out, and the next guard tries the exact same move.
Inside, Davis, free throw line, goes towards the basket. Lefty layup, good for John Davis. Tied at 58 here between Hofstra and Towson. Again tied, that's the 11th time today.
I mean, you talked about the lead changes. Now it's tied once more, 58-58. I don't think we expected this whatsoever. During halftime, I was questioning just what the Pride were really doing. I mean, they blew out this Towson team 90-58 last time. Right now, it's 58-58, not 90-58. There's a big difference there, and it seems strange because you wonder what the Pride were really thinking as far as a game plan. Why not use the exact same strategy as they used last time? Well, a big piece could have been the 18 minutes they got from Malik Nichols. They don't have that right now. You've had to see Rokas Gusti sit on the bench a little bit more. You've had to see the guards play a little bit extra and put a little bit more on the floor for this Pride team. This is one of those first games where you really say, wow, they need Malik Nichols. We've seen it a couple times that this would be a good spot to use him. They could use his spark right now, but this is, I think, one of the first times we've had to say they really do need him on the bench right now. It's a clear indicator now when you come around to the time where you're seeing these CAA teams for the second time, you see the clear difference from when he played to when he didn't.
Coach Mihalik always said that the hardest thing to do is beat a team on the road and then come back to your own place and be able to beat them again. So we know that's going to be tough for the Pride. Right now we are tied at 58. Mark Weiner and Matt Durant here with you, also joined by Chris Buckley on the sidelines. 13:31 to go in the game. We were also tied at the half at 43, and both teams have scored 15 points apiece in this second half, so it really has been back and forth the entire way. And I'm curious what you think about this, Matt. Do the Pride have enough stability, have enough endurance to be able to win a game like this? Because it's going to go down to the wire. We can tell maybe Towson and pretty much every team in the CAA has an advantage over Hofstra because they have a deeper bench.
The one question mark is the depth, and not question mark, not question two mark. The one question mark on this team is the depth on the bench. The difference between this Pride team and a lot of other teams, if you have 6 players for Towson, you don't seem to have that one closer. For Hofstra, every single one of these players can be the closer.
True.
You saw Rokas Gustis in those final minutes against Northeastern, and Denton Kuhn, and Wanye Green. They all can hit shots. They can all rebound in the final minutes when they were playing over 50 minutes. You have closers even though you might be seeing 50 minutes from a guy.
Outside of that timeout, it is controlled by Hofstra. Whistle blows out of bounds on Towson, so Hofstra will inbound to the left of their bench. Out of the timeout, the Pride have Green, Tanksley, Gustis, Kuhn, and Bernardi. And Towson has Hawkins, McNeil, Davis, Parker Rivera, and Morcell. Directing traffic is Wanye Green, left wing, switches off with Kuhn. Now right side for Tanksley. Around the perimeter, it's Bernardi, right wing. Looks for someone to go, gets it to Gustis, a little give and go as Bernardi has it back top of the key. He'll take an 18-foot jumper from up top, no good. The rebound is fought for. Kuhn gets it right elbow. He'll kick out for Tanksley, right wing. Has a full 30 for the Pride. They're just going to slow things down. It's Green at the Hofstra logo. Moves towards his left. Switches off with Kuhn. Left wing, top of the key for Tanksley. Now Bernardi, right wing. He moves towards his left. Left wing, it's Green. Between his legs, picks up by Gustis. Gets it to Tanksley. Left wing, Tanksley towards the basket. Tries to put one up, gets fouled on the way. That's going to be on Morcell. He just walks right to the benches. That's his 4th foul.
4 fouls for Morcell. You see 3 for Keith. Dalmedo only has 1, and that's a good sign for the Towson Tigers. The downside for that is that he only has 7 rebounds. He is not playing the kind of game he's used to. He has 17 points, so yes, he's excelling as far as scoring. As Amin Tanksley watches one rattle out, so it'll stay tied up with Tanksley at the line. But I think when you saw this matchup, you thought big scoring days from Dalmedo and Rokas Gustis. But instead, Dalmedo is only scoring. He's not having a great day on the glass.
He does have 7 rebounds so far today. Tanksley misses them both, so we're tied at 58. 12:30 to go in this game.
D-Shore Bowie ready to check in this time.
Right wing is a Dalmedo, guarded on by Wanye Green loosely. Top of the key for Keith. He moves around a pick. Now to the top of the key for Dalmedo. Right wing is Hawkins. Inside, Dalmedo at the free throw line. Drives a couple steps inside. He'll kick out Hawkins. 8 on the shot clock. Goes to the right side. He's at the right elbow. Hawkins goes to the basket. Lefty floater is good. That play looked broken, but nonetheless, Hawkins scores, and it's 60-58.
Hawkins with a little forearm shiver of Rokas Gustis as he drove the lane. He just tossed out that elbow and sort of pushed Gustis off of him.
Green, right wing 3-pointer, yes! Pride up by 1, 61-60, 8 minutes into the second half.
You asked me if they could win a game like this tight, and I said it was because of a closer. First name you say is Wanye Green. He is that closer for this Pride team. It's because of that sweet shot he's got.
Inside, Parker Rivera on Gustis, puts one up, no good. The rebound for Rokas Gustis. He's got the all-time record. That's his 16th double-double, the most in the history of the CAA play for the Hofstra Pride. Here's Green, right wing. He goes towards the right block, tries a behind-the-back pass, but it goes out of bounds. We'll tell you about who has the ball when we return. 11:30 to go in this game, 61-60. Hofstra with the lead over Towson right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back here at the Max Sports Complex, Mark Wiener, Matt Duran, and Chris Buckley here with you. 61-60, Hofstra with the lead over Towson. Let's go to Chris Buckley in the Hofstra huddle.
Yeah, guys, right now the first thing I can tell you from the Hofstra sideline is that multiple times throughout this half, head coach Joe Mihalik just stunned that there hasn't been a foul called against Towson. Multiple plays underneath the basket right here behind me where Rokas Gustis has gone up underneath the basket, and guys from Towson have seemingly come behind him and at least touched him on the hand as he's tried to put the ball in the basket. Mihalik just screaming out to the referees, asking how there's no call. The other thing is, if you look across the court, you see Malik Nichols, who obviously out for the year with that knee injury. He's sitting behind the bench, had surgery earlier today, as a matter of fact. He's sitting behind his teammates, has his leg propped up on one of the other chairs, trying to encourage his teammates the best that he can. Give you a case in point, Justin Wright Foreman played a few minutes ago, came off the court shaking his head, just looked disappointed that he wasn't out there for longer. Tried to call him over and just kind of smooth him over a little bit, say don't worry about it, you're going to get your chances, keep your head up, Justin Wright Foreman.
That's interesting. Thanks, Chris. I didn't realize Malik had the surgery today. We knew he had the very serious knee injury keeping him out for the season, so Nichols still a emotional leader for the Hofstra Pride despite not actually being on the court.
Well, we can thank that information. We can thank for that information Sports Information Director Stephen Gorchov, who actually told myself and Chris Buckley that just before the game started. But that definitely is a sort of an uplifting thing about Malik Nichols' story.
Gustis to the basket, up and in with a layup. He's got 14 points and 10 rebounds today, and the Pride have a 3-point lead. Towson goes right to left. It's Keefe. Top of the key for Parker Rivera. Left wing, Davis. Goes around a pick, now goes to the basket with the left hand. It rolls in for John Davis. Towson's within one again, 11 minutes to go.
The entire coaching staff for the Pride just sort of smacking their legs and sitting down and drawing something up. For those instances, there have been too many times where the Towson Tigers just drive the lane, have an open lane, and just drop the ball in.
Bernardi thought about a three in the far corner, goes towards Bowie, now top of the key. He'll take a three-pointer way right, and the rebound will go to Towson. Student section's emptying out here at the MAC. I don't know why. Hawkins blocked away by Wanye Green as he went up for a layup, and Towson will have the ball.
Well, the rest of the crowd that is remaining enjoyed that one. You don't expect those emphatic blocks from Wanye Green. You typically think that's where Andre Walker comes in with his height, or Rokas Gustis.
Hawkins wide open, far corner three-pointer, a little bit too strong, and the rebound will go to Gustis. Down the left side is Green, now Bernardi, far corner three-pointer, knocks it down! Brian Bernardi gives the Pride a 66-62 lead at the midway point of the second half.
He's now 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, and I talked about how he would have to be an X factor for this Pride and expected a big game from him. Well, he's 3 for 5 now, 9 points for the hot and cold Bernardi.
Got 9 points today as Hawkins goes inside, puts up a floater with the left hand, no good. Gets his own rebound, though, over Gustis. McNeil, left wing three-pointer, answers back. 66-65, Towson's within one, 9:50 to go.
Deshore Bowie throwing his hands up in the air after that play. Not really sure what more he could have done. He did get in the face of the shooter and threw his hands up there, but a great shot, and there's really nothing he can do about it.
Kuhn, right elbow, goes inside for Gustis. The pass is blocked away, though. McNeil will come the other way. Down the right side, easy bunny, good with the right hand. Towson takes a lead, 67-66.
The rare misstep inside the paint for Denton Kuhn resulted in that play. I mean, he tried to just get a little teardrop pass to Gustis, but he forgot to put the teardrop on it. It was just a little bit, it was really low. It was more of a chest pass that he used one hand to get to Gustis, and it looked like Dalmedo was able to get his hand on it.
Green, left wing, goes towards the basket, fouled on the way. That will not be in the act of shooting. And it will be the 6th on Towson.
Amin Tanksley will check back in for Deshore Bowie, who's frustrated out himself. And as Chris Buckley just mentioned, that's what Malik Nichols is doing with his time on the bench, trying to sort of revamp the players that are down on themselves as they hit the bench.
It's inbounded to Gustis, left corner. He dribbles with the ball, now gets to Kuhn, top of the key. Towson with a 1-point lead. Bounce pass to Green, right of the key. Under 9 to go in this game. Picked up by Gustis. Green goes around it down the left side. Tried to get it somewhere, but it's taken away by the Towson Tigers. Almost taken away again by Hofstra, but Towson will get across the timeline. It's Ivory on the far side, dribbling with his left hand. Moves towards the top of the key, gives right side to Dalmedo. Now Davis, right wing. Davis with 15 points today. Dalmedo down the left side. Tries to get to Ivory on the right side, taken away by Bernardi. Green towards the right side, lap good with the right hand, and the Pride take a 1-point lead, 68-67.
Bernardi, the smart move there, instead of taking it himself and trying to get trying to get Wanye Green in the paint, he just gave it to him right at half court, and then Wanye Green do his thing.
Davis inside, left-handed hook shot is good. 18 lead changes in this game so far, and it's 69-68 in favor of Towson with 8 to go.
Well, that breaks a tie for points in the paint. Now 40 for Towson, 38 for the Pride. Gustis with a lot of work on his hands today.
Green stops and pops from 18 on the left side, no good. Crashing the board is Parker Rivera, and Towson will come the other way with a 1-point lead. Down the right side is Ivory, yo-yoing with the basketball. He'll go towards the top of the key as he bounces with the left hand. Davis, left wing, now McNeil. On the left side, around the perimeter, it's Parker Rivera, right of the key. Switches off with Davis, 12 on the shot clock. Top of the key, McNeil. Left wing, Ivory. Goes towards the right side, 5 on the shot clock. Davis, right wing, he'll go baseline, 3 on the shot clock. Davis will kick up top for McNeil. Shot clock expires, and Hofstra will get the ball. When we return, 7:17 to go in this ball game, 69-68. Towson with the lead for now, right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back in Uniondale, it's a 1-point lead for Towson over Hofstra, 69-68, with 7:17 to go in this game. Mark Wiener, Matt Durant, now Chris Buckley in the Hofstra huddle.
Hey guys, I feel like I'm saying this to you every time I come on here, but it's true. There's a number of things that the coaching staff for Hofstra has been discussing on their sideline. The main thing right now, as you've seen over the last few minutes, defensive rebound. Seems like every time Towson puts up a shot in Hofstra's zone, they're just standing around flat-footed, not trying to fight for the rebound. The other thing, turnovers. A bunch of different players for the Pride have turned the ball over in the last few minutes. The one final thing I would say is head coach Joe Mihalik, every time that there's a play in transition, Towson really trying to push the tempo and force Hofstra to run up the other end of the floor as quickly as they can, really giving them a dose of their own medicine. I mean, we know Hofstra likes to do that. They're not getting back quickly enough on defense. Coach Joe Mihalik is pulling his hair out over on the sideline with that right now.
Thanks, Chris. And Matt, we've heard all year long from Coach Mihalik, transition defense, how important that is. And it looks like Towson's getting the better of them in that battle so far.
Well, actually, it was something that head coach Pat Scarry said just this past week about their game against Northeastern, how David Walker really impressed him because of his transition game. But for the Pride, it's something they have to watch out for, too, the transition game from Towson. It seems to be a common theme for them because they do run with Rokas Gustis and Denton Kuhn, who aren't the fastest guys on the court at any given time, so they really have to get up the court quickly and try to back check, if you will.
Hofstra controls out of the timeout with the starting 5, Bernardi, Green, Tanksley, Kuhn, and Gustis. Towson has Ivory, McNeil, Davis, Parker Rivera, and Dalmedo. Left wing is Tanksley. Thought about a shot, gives top of the key for Green. He takes a shot and makes it! 71-69, Pride with the lead, under 7 to go.
That's his third deep ball of the day as well, 3 for 4. Just a great shooting day for Wanye Green. He threw up the 3 before it even landed. He knows when his shot is on.
Down the left side is McNeil, blocked away by Gustis. Here come the Pride, going left to right, it's Green. One-on-one with Dalmedo, he'll pull it back as he didn't have a shot there. He's in the right corner now. Green to Tanksley, top of the key. He'll take a 3-pointer. Yes! 74-69, Hofstra with the lead, 6:20 to go.
And Joe Mihalik is jumping up and down, players smacking the court. They are riled up. They know this is their time to pull away.
Back-to-back threes from Green and Tanksley, the Philadelphia connection. Dalmedo down the left side, stops and pops from 10. It's no good. The rebound, fought for, and Denton Kuhn gets it. Foul going to be called on Dalmedo as Kuhn went tumbling to the floor. That's his second, team's 7th, so a 1-and-1 upcoming for Denton Kuhn.
This team's shooting 45% from three, this entire game, but 71% this half. When is the last time you saw this team shoot this well from beyond the arc? It seems like it hasn't been all conference play because Brian Bernardi's been cold. Well, today he's 3 for 5. You got Green 3 for 4. Denton Kuhn 2 for 4. That was Amin Tanksley's first of the day, but it came at the perfect time.
As Kuhn misses the front end of a 1-and-1, so still a 5-point lead for Hofstra. 6 minutes exactly to play in this game. Hawkins goes towards the right side. Parker Rivera top of the key. Hofstra in a 2-3 zone right now. McNeil left side. He'll try to kick out, and it's deflected off a Hofstra player and out of bounds, so it will be Towson possession.
That was off of Amin Tanksley. He had the wherewithal to just throw his hand up as the ball was coming from behind him. He just sort of turned his head right at the perfect second, tossed his hand up there, and made sure not to give anybody an easy shot.
It's inbounded all the way to Parker Rivera. 15 on the shot clock for Towson. They did have a shot clock violation about a couple of minutes ago, so that's something to watch. Around the perimeter, it's left wing for Morcell. He's got 4 fouls, 6 on the clock. A shot is taken, no good. Rebounded by Keith. He puts one up and in as the shot clock was expiring. And it's a 3-point deficit for Towson with 5:30 to go.
That kills a little bit of momentum, not just because Towson scored, but because an air ball should never be rebounded by the team that shot it.
Left wing, it's Wanye Green. Picked up by Gustis. Green around it, gives to Kuhn. Far corner. Now back to Green. Inside Gustis. He'll kick out Bernardi. Right wing three-pointer is a little bit too short. The rebound will be fought for on the right side, and Denton Kuhn gets it. Inside for Tanksley. Off glass and in with the left hand. A timeout's going to be called by Joe Mihalik. A 5-point lead for the Hofstra Pride with about 5 to go.
Person most riled up by that play was Rokas Gustis. It looked like Denton Kuhn was going to just gun the pass to Gustis. It went right past him to Amin Tanksley. And I think Rock was, one, happy that the ball actually got to a player when it went past him, but B, was able to get put back up by Amin Tanksley. A great run now by the Pride. They've hit 5 of their last 7 on the floor, and that really just speaks to their confidence right now. They're getting fired up by every single play. I mentioned after that Amin Tanksley play that Joe Mihalik was jumping up and down. Brian Bernardi jumped off the court, smacked the court. Wanye Green was yelling to the rest of his players. Rokas Gustis yelling to everybody. They know how to rile each other up. They know how to continue momentum and give each other the confidence to throw up shots like Wanye and Amin did.
Towson will control the ball after the timeout by Hofstra. 5 minutes to go in this game. Hofstra leads 76-71. They come out in a 1-2-2 press. Bernardi will back off just a bit. Now Keith controls at the Hofstra logo. Moves towards his right side. Gives to Parker Rivera, top of the key. Left wing is Hawkins. Now moves towards his right. Stops and pops from the top of the key. No good. Back iron. The rebound to Parker Rivera. So fresh 30 for Towson. Inside is Morcell. Puts one up. No good. And Gustis gets the board. 14 and 12 for the Rock.
Blocked away by Denton Kuhn. Rebounded by Rock. That's just the relationship they have down low in that paint.
Left wing is Tanksley. Top of the key, Green. Bounce pass inside for Kuhn, out to Bernardi. Right corner, he'll take a three-pointer, yes! Brian Bernardi, the Staten Island sniper, is back. He's got 12 points, and the Pride have an 8-point lead.
Now 4 for 7 from beyond the arc. 12 points, all on 3 balls. He is hot.
Left wing is Hawkins. Goes around a pick, he's at the top of the key. Hawkins, yo-yos with the basketball, goes inside, almost loses it, and does to Amin Tanksley. Green down the left side, gives to Bernardi. Tries to take another 3 from the right wing. That one won't fall, and the rebound for Towson. Here comes Morcell, gives to the right side for Hawkins. He'll take a 3 of his own. In and out, the rebound for Parker Rivera, up and in with the right hand. 79-73, Towson's within 6 points, 3:30 to go.
Again, Towson knowing how to kill the mood here in the MAC. I mean, this place was erupting when Bernardi hit that last 3 ball, and then he goes up again, and there was a resounding oh, which you can't really expect to give him much more confidence. And then on the other end, Towson with a putback.
Top of the key is Green. Inside, Kuhn at the right elbow, goes inside for Gustis. Under the basket, he loses it as Eddie Keith was there. Keith down the right side of the court. tries to put one up, gets fouled on the way. It's going to be called before the shot. So I believe it will just be an inbound for Towson when we return. 79-73. Hofstra with the lead over Towson. 3:07 right here on the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. Back here at the Max Sports Complex, 79-73 is the score. Hofstra with the lead, 3:07 to go in this game. Let's go to Chris Buckley, who's in the Hofstra huddle one final time.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I mean, it's pretty obvious just from watching this game. This has really just turned into a marathon. It's pretty much come down to who can run faster to the other end of the floor. The transition game has really, really picked up in the second half of play. Defensively for Hofstra, you can just see it in Joe Mihalik's body language from what he's saying to the guys. He just really wants that one key defensive stop where he will feel more comfortable and try to distance his team away from the Towson Tigers. The other thing is Towson has a couple guys who are in some serious foul trouble, so they know that. They've talked about it to the guys on the bench. The coaching staff has stressed it to the other Pride players. They know that Towson needs to play a bit more conservatively on the defensive side of things. A couple guys are 4 fouls.
All right, thank you, Chris. Again, 3:07 to go, 79-73. Hofstra with the lead over Towson. In this stretch, incredibly important for the Pride. We know that they've had a couple of games where late they haven't been able to keep leads. So if they can do that in this game, obviously a plus.
Well, the other thing about this game is that we haven't seen recently versus what we have seen recently is when was the last time you saw this Pride team with nobody in true foul trouble this late in the game?
That's a very good point, Matt, as the Towson Tigers control going right to left with Hawkins, Parker Rivera, Morcell, Dalmedo, and Keith Green, Tanksley, Gustis, Kuhn, and Bernardi for Hofstra. Morcell down the right side, he's towards the right block, tries to put one up, off glass, and falls in. 79-75. Towson's within 4 with 2:40 to go. Here comes Wanye Green, slowly down the timeline. He's at the Hofstra logo. Picked up by Kuhn. Green goes around it. Now gets it back after a pass. Inside for Gustis. It's off his fingertips, and a foul is going to be called on Keith. He'll foul out of the game. And that will also be the 8th team foul. So a 1-and-1 upcoming again for Hofstra.
And Keith very vocal about his displeasure on that foul, fouling out right now when he's definitely been one of the vocal leaders on this court, sort of been their spark. He's been the emotional one. I mentioned earlier his little staring match between himself and Gustis each time they got in each other's faces, but now Keith fouls out. He only had 2 points and 4 rebounds, but you still need that energy, especially late in these games. You need those spark players. To answer my own question, Mark, I mentioned the foul totals and how the Pride have very few this late in the game. Well, they just tied last game, their season low, with 12. So I suppose their last game against the University of Delaware would be a good marker for just how disciplined they've been today. They only have 8 right now.
Gustis missed the front end of a 1-and-1 on that one. Morcell, spin move in the paint, gives to Parker Rivera. Right block, puts one up and in with the right hand. Towson's within 2 points, a little over 2 minutes to go. So we're going to go down to the wire. Hofstra had a little bit of a pad there, but now Towson's back within 2 points. Green, right wing, picks up by Gustis. Green, between his legs, stops and pops from 18. The shot is no good. The rebound will go all the way towards the right side. Gustis was shoved, wanted a foul, doesn't get it. Davis gives to Dalmedo, now towards the right side, puts one up, off glass, good, and the foul! Tied at 79 between Hofstra and Towson with 1:44 to go.
I don't have to be a lip reader to see what Rokas Gustis just said, because it was nothing. He was speechless, just staring at the referee, pointing down to the other end of the court as he laid on the court after quite a lot of contact. And it seemed like the coaching staff was kind of speechless as well, just looking at the referees, wondering where their whistles are.
Dalmedo makes the free throw to give Hofstra a 1-point advantage. 80-79, Towson a 1-point advantage. Green with the left hand will dribble at the top of the key. 92 seconds to go in this game. Green to the right side. He'll pull back out. 15 on the shot clock for Hofstra. Coach Mihalik directing traffic. Green towards the left side of the basket. Will put one up. Yes! And the foul! Wanye Green will go to the line for one more as he gives the Pride a 1-point advantage.
Clearly the 90-second mark is where Wanye Green swaps off from everyday player to that closer they need right now. 81-80, he goes to the line, could make it a 2-point lead. With 1:24 remaining, they'll take all they can get, and they need all they can get.
As Green makes the and-one opportunity, a 2-point lead for the Hofstra Pride. 1:24 to go in this game, and I think we're going to hear Wanye Green's name a couple more times today, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've said the word a couple of times now, closer. He's that guy where you go to him for that final shot. Amin Tanksley was put in that situation in that UNCW game. Am I wrong?
He was.
But after the game, Joe Mihalik said, you know, he's not the guy that I should have had the ball given to. He's not that guy who you can put in that position. Yes, he's a veteran leader. He's a great shooter, but he's just not that guy where when you're down to the wire, should have to have that burden on his shoulders. Wanye Green lives for it. Wanye Green and Denton Kuhn, two of the other leaders on this team, they know in these final seconds, just stay cool, calm, and collected, and take shots as naturally as possible. Even with hands in your face, you have to take clean shots.
I think that's where Hofstra's veteran presence comes in, as you've got a bunch of 50-year seniors in Kuhn, Tanksley, and Green.
But now a quick question for you, Mark. This late in the game, as hot as Brian Bernardi is, do you still go to Wanye Green?
We'll see what the coaching staff says. That's the most important thing. As Towson goes right to left, 1:15 to go. They trail by 2 to the Tigers. Dalmedo, top of the key, left wing, Morcell. Got to be careful with 4 fouls. Morcell, top of the key, left wing, Dalmedo. Guarded on by Kuhn. 10 on the shot clock. Morcell, top of the key again, guarded on by Bernardi. 6 on the shot clock. A minute to go in this game. Morcell, left baseline, has to take a shot. No good, but he does get fouled on the way. That will be on Green, the team's 5th, Green's 1st. And Morcell will go to the line for 2 shots.
I'm not quite sure how to talk about that play right there, Mark, without just saying that I didn't see much contact. I mean, Wanye Green went up for the block on a 12 to 15 footer, and it looked like his fingers barely even touched the ball, let alone the player. And Morcell hits his first, so it's 82-81. Morcell could tie it up as he was not taking the 3-point shot. That would have been even worse, and I think Joe Mihalik probably would have crossed the timeline to argue about that one.
Morcell, one of 5 players in double figures for the Tigers. 4 are in doubles for Hofstra. Denton Kuhn within 1. He's at 9 points. Morcell makes them both. We're tied at 82 with 56 seconds to go. Here comes Wanye Green across the timeline at the Hofstra logo now. Green has a pick from Gustis, goes towards the right of it. Now Tanksley, top of the key. He'll go towards the basket. Will Amin loses the ball, and John Davis corrals it. Tied at 82. Towson with a chance now. 35 seconds to go. About a 10-second differential between shot and game clock. And Pat Scarry wants to talk things over.
Well, Amin Tanksley not happy about his play right there. As he drove the lane, it seemed like he wanted a call for the contact, but Joe Mihalik not fighting it, and that's really what you have to look for. If he's reacting this late in the game, you know it's something legitimate, but he's staying quiet, he's staying composed, he's just talking to Akbar Wahid and Coach Farrelly, along with Speedy Claxton, trying to figure out the perfect play to draw up. Not with the players, as the players are just getting their breather. They have 34 seconds on the clock. They have to be exhausted. I mean, right now, you look at the minutes. We talked about the minutes earlier. 39 minutes right now for Wanye Green. So he's going to end up playing the entirety of this game. And how do you even put that into words? It's incredible the amount of work he puts in. 39 minutes, but 35 from Amin Tanksley, 30 from Rokas Gustis. He's played this entire second half. 36 from Kuhn and 36 from Bernardi. The bench has really not contributed much. 11 minutes from Deshore Bowie and 8 from Andre Walker. They only combined for 6 points, however, but I mean, you look at it now, it's tied up. Those were clearly 6 key points.
So we're tied up at 82. We were tied up at the half at 43 apiece, but Hofstra did have an 8-point lead at 4:21 of the second half. And now we're tied again with 34 seconds to go. Towson will have an inbound at midcourt on the far side. 10-second differential between shot and game clock right now. Morcell will inbound. He gets to Hawkins, top of the key. So Hawkins will just try to waste some time right now outside of the timeout that Pat Scarry took. One timeout apiece left for both of these coaches. 20 on the game clock now. Left wing is Davis. 10 on the shot clock. Hawkins around a pick. Now Dalmedo on the right side. 5 on the shot clock. Dalmedo towards the basket. And a charge is going to be called. Offensive foul on Dalmedo. And the Hofstra Pride will have the ball with 13.7 to go.
And a timeout will be called by Joe Mihalik. He needs to drop the perfect play right here. 13.7 seconds. You can't take a shot too early. God forbid you throw up a shot with 1.2 remaining and then give Towson the opportunity to throw up, a half-court shot with 0.4, 0.5. That is something that Joe Mihalik wants to avoid. So you drop a play that takes off pretty much 13 seconds. You take a shot in those final seconds. I mean, yes, they say how in these times you have to decide. Do you go for the tie or the win? It does matter if you're on the road or at home. But right now, I think Joe Mihalik desperately wants to go for this win. I mean, he's gotten a lot of energy from this crowd today. A good showing at the MAC, and that was something that he and even Denton Kuhn at practice yesterday said is necessary right here at home. They have 3 more games. They had 3 home games left. They look to their crowd for a lot of support. They've been getting it today. Every time they knock down the 3-ball, when they had the Andre Walker dunk, when they had the 2 Rokas Gustis dunks, they're getting the energy they need. Now they just have to put it on the court. They have to show that they're energetic in these final seconds. Despite being gassed beyond belief, they have to show just how tough they are. Throw up the perfect shot. Now, who does that shot go to? I asked you a few minutes ago. Does it go to Bernardi because he's hot? Does it go to Amin Tanksley because he's, he's obviously a great shooter. He hasn't been phenomenal today, just shooting 25% or 20%. But Denton Kuhn, a great shooter in these instances, but 3 for 4. Wanye Green. Or you could go in the paint to Rokas Gustis.
There's a lot of options.
You only need 2. You only need 2 points in this instance, and that's something that I think has to be remembered.
Pride are 10-4 in CAA play. Towson 9-5. So this game means a lot for CAA implications. Left to right go the Pride. 13.7 on the clock. Here comes Wanye Green across midcourt. He's going to hold it at the Pride logo. Green between his legs goes towards the left side. Green inside for Gustis. Off glass and in. Rokas Gustis gives the Pride a 2-point lead with 2.7 to go.
I feel like I'm kind of an idiot for mentioning that Rokas Gustis could be the 4th or 5th option on the court for that final shot. But really, I mean, that was a perfect play. It was the pick and roll that they've been trying all game. That was the pick and roll that in the first half just would not work for Gustis. Every time he turned around, Dalmedo was right behind him. But instead, this time, of all times, Towson leaves him just a little bit unguarded. He's able to turn around to a chest pass and put it up off glass and in. But now, here's the issue. 2.7 left on the clock. Now Joe Mihalik has to draw up that perfect defensive play. Because now with a 2-point lead, instead of them going for the 3, that is something that Towson can try.
Yep. So with 2.7 to go, Towson will have the ball. They have to go the full length of the court. Hofstra leads 84-82. And will try to improve to 11-4 in CAA play and stay in sole possession of 2nd place. It'll be inbounded by McNeil on the far side. He's got to heave it all the way down court. He does, gets it to Dalmedo. And a foul is going to be called on Amin Tanksley.
It was a smart idea right there, fouling, because if they enter the bonus and go to the line, they have to take their 2 shots, and they can't take the 3.
So we'll see if they try to foul intentionally here. Gustis will come back in for Bowie. It will be inbounded again by McNeil at midcourt. 2 seconds exactly to go. Bernardi is on the inbounder. McNeil. We'll see what Towson draws up down by 2. Get it to Hawkins. He takes a right wing 3-pointer. No good. Hofstra wins. 84-82 is the final at the MAC. The Pride 11-4 in CAA play. Sole possession of 2nd place.
A phenomenal ending to a great game. We saw back and forth. We talked about all the lead changes, 22 lead changes, I should say, by the end of this game. I mean, back and forth, nonstop. Definitely a lot different than we expected. Last time they met, it was a 90-58 blowout. The last time that Towson played in general. It's not the way that you expected this game to go.
Yep.
But 84-82, the final score stands. And you look at the individual performances today, you can't really say there's an MVP of this game because you see 21 points from Wanye Green, but he had 10 assists. I mean, you could say he's the MVP, but another double-double from Rokas Gustis, even though he didn't play the whole game. You saw 8 minutes from Andre Walker, so in limited time, Gustis still does what he does best. And some great shooting by Brian Bernardi and Denton Kuhn late in that game, too.
We joined momentarily by Speedy Claxton, assistant coach, with Chris Buckley on the sideline.
Coach, 84-82 win over Towson. Just, I mean, your opening thoughts, what a game.
That's exactly right. What a game! I mean, even down to that last second shot. If you had our side of it, it looked like it was down. It looked like it was down.
And how about on the other end, right before that shot, where Wanye finds Rokas underneath the basket? Was that the design play? That was the play?
Yeah, that was the design play. Wanye made a great, unbelievable pass, and Rock finished it. Right. It was a great win.
What does it tell you, this win, about the grit and the determination of this team under pressure, here in front of a big crowd at home, Towson pressuring you guys to the very, very end, battling the CAA? What does it tell you about this team's heart?
Oh, we have a lot of heart. I mean, that's the most toughest and physical team in the league. And if we can play against them like that, I mean, we should be able to do that every night.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Guys.
Again, that was assistant coach Speedy Claxton with our own Chris Buckley. Again, the Pride win 84-82 over the Towson Tigers. They're now 11-4 in CAA play, and I mean, what a game. That was the comment from Speedy Claxton. It was back and forth the whole way, and I think last year maybe Hofstra loses this game, but this year they come out on top.
I think they lose this game last year just because Dion Nesmith isn't this year's Wanye Green. He was a great player, but Wanye Green is just electric this year.
Yes.
But also last year's Musa Kone is nothing like this year's Rokas Gustis. You have such a formidable post presence that you really can't say what the post presence would have been this year if you still had Musa Kone or if you had last year's Rokas Gustis. Right now, the big thing, though, William & Mary leads UNCW by 13 points. Over the last 6 minutes, they were able to outscore UNCW 26-3. So right now, a great situation for the Pride, who, 2 weeks ago slipped a little bit in the standings with their 0-2 weekend. They go 2-0 this past weekend, including a win over William & Mary, so they have the head-to-head advantage there. But they also now are looking at William & Mary to be their ally in this fight against UNCW. If UNCW loses, now this game means a whole lot more. That gap closes at the top of the CAA standings even more so. So their fight right now against UNCW is arguably just as important as the Pride's fight was here today at the MAC.
So the Pride could be within one game of first place in the CAA after this game, as William & Mary is beating UNCW right now. As Matt, how important would that be? Because you go into next week, next Thursday, it's Pride Seahawks in North Carolina. The Pride are within one game and do win on Sunday here at the MAC against Northeastern. Biggest game of the year.
Biggest game of the year, absolutely. But the other thing is, there is that pressure factor. Can the Pride get through that game without buckling under the pressure? Because you do know that, yes, they're a short bench. So can the starting five get through that entire game without buckling? The other thing is to note, if William & Mary wins this game, that's not all great for the Pride, because William & Mary is still a formidable opponent when CAA play rolls around. I mean, we saw 2 great games between the Pride and William & Mary. Do they really prefer to see them or UNCW in that CAA tournament? I think they want the highest seed possible, but they could be putting themselves in a sticky situation.
I think no matter what, any team in the CAA is going to give the Pride trouble, because we have a lot of talented teams, 10 you could call in the CAA. And Matt, just your final thoughts on this win for the Pride. Again, 84-82 is the final here from the MAC Sports Complex.
I think you need Brian Bernardi to keep doing what he's doing today. You don't need 21 points from him. You just need a couple of clutch threes. You need Wanye Green to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, a double-double, 10 more assists today. He is 5th in the nation in assists. You know how reliable he is. Gustis, another great game against the boards, but you do have to wonder now if they meet a team like Towson, if they see Towson again in the playoffs, when that top 6 of the Pride are a little bit more tired down the road, can they do this kind of win once again? If they have that battle on the glass, can they win again when they're down the line in CAA tournament play, when they might be a little bit more tired?
All right, that'll do it for us here from the MAC Sports Complex. Again, 84-82 is the final. Hofstra over at Towson. Thanks so much to everybody involved in both Pride Productions and on WRHU. We'll be back again on WRHU Sunday at 2 p.m. as the Hofstra men's basketball team will take on the Northeastern Huskies. It will also be featured on NBCSN. For everyone involved in the broadcast, I'm Mark Weiner for Chris Buckley and Matt Durant. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening.
Bye.